What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Real Housewives of Potomac, season 4, episode 3. Um, on my social media is in the description box, and go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. So look, let's just go on and jump on in. This was a filler episode, right? This was a filler episode for us to get to the scandal of the season, which is Michael and his inappropriate conversation slash actions or what have you, right? And they teased it all the way to the end of the episode and they gave us this much. So we'll come back next week. But let's go on and jump into it. So we start off with Ashley at home. Michael's working out, and Ashley's mom comes over. And what we find out is that Michael and Ashley's mom are actually in a better place. They actually hug. Ashley starts crying. She's like, "This is the first time you guys have hugged. I can't believe it." And Michael seems like he's really trying to just do better and let bygones be bygones. You know, it was cool. And, Ashley's talking to her mom about the fertility and everything. And Ashley, her mom is like, "Look, you need some fried chicken, some smothered pork chops, some mashed potatoes. Like you just need to eat some meat, because Ashley didn't stop eating meat. Ashley's doing this, Ashley's doing that. She's still drinking though. Which I don't think is a bad thing. Here's the thing. Once you tell somebody you're doing something or not doing something, then the minute you do that thing, it's magnified. So by actually going around telling people she stopped drinking, and then she picking up a beer, of course people are going to be like, you said you weren't going to drink, but there you are, drinking, and so I think she needs to just stop making these grand proclamations and say, look, these are the things that I'm working towards to help with my fertility. Don't say I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that and I'm not doing that, because the reality is you are, and that comes up again a couple of times throughout the episode, over and over and over again. So, but that was a great scene. We see that her and her mom are in a better place, and definitely her and Michael and her mom are in a better place than where they were last season. Then we have a really sad scene. We see Karen and Ray basically picking out the headstone for Karen's parents. And, she said Ray is only like 3 years younger than her dad was when he passed away. And so, of course, that just brings stuff into just reality. You know what I mean? That just brings it into, it's like, wow, like her father had dementia. So, she said, I just really um don't want to think about my life without Ray. And she gets really emotional. And that's an emotional thing. I've been there and done that. Most of us who have lost someone has had to deal with that whole process. There's a whole process of when you lose someone. And the closer they are, the more it's on you to handle. And something that people don't think about, like a headstone. It can be hard. It can be emotional. It's permanent. You want it to be right. You want to honor the person, but you want to, you know what I mean? So that was a little emotional scene. And that's just a reminder that she is still grieving her parents. This is really still very, very fresh for Karen and very new for Karen. And for that, I give Karen a pass on a lot of stuff this season, because I just can't imagine losing my parents that close together back to back. Mm. I don't even want to go no further with that sentence. So, Miss Giselle goes to see her counselor. This is the same counselor that her and Sherman was seeing together. And she told him, remember when we were talking, and Sherman said, I asked him to take me to the wedding, and he sort of hesitant, but he said he would do it. And then he backed out at the last minute. And even the counselor was kind of like, ugh, that's not good. And, Giselle's thing is, well, he's done. Boom, out of here. And the counselor was like, yeah, but is it really that easy? Like, is that how you deal with relationships, that the minute you're done, it's like you shut off and she was like, yeah, like pretty much. Like, when I'm done, I'm done. And I'd be interested to see. I don't know what sign Karen is, because, I'm not one that reads everything into signs, but I do think there's certain characteristics that are connected to people's astrological signs. And Karen, I keep saying Karen. I'm sorry, y'all. Giselle seems like the kind of person that when she is done, she's just done. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean that it's not still emotional and she doesn't still have private moments. But publicly, you ain't gonna never see it. And publicly, what the public is gonna see is I'm done, I'm over it, and next. Moving on to the next one. What was that Ariana Grande song? Next. Thank you, next. And I really think that's where Giselle was. But I really feel like her and Sherman were grasping at straws and holding on to straws anyway. You know what I'm saying? Um, Excuse me. I understand why Sherman didn't want to go to the wedding. I just think the way he handled it was wrong, which is what everybody, the counselor and everybody kind of, feels like. So then she said something about, yeah, I left it in that whiskey. He was like, oh, so you self-medicating. Hold on now. Now, I don't think we have to go to that extreme. I don't think she's self-medicating. I think that she just had a real good night with a bottle of whiskey and was done with it. But okay. But then it makes Giselle sort of reflect on, do I just throw people away and do I not work on things and work on friendships or relationships? Am I just that cold and cut off, and do I need to do better? So the rest of the episode is about Giselle reflecting on that, and we'll get to that in a minute. The newlyweds, Karen and, Lord, why I want to keep putting Karen and everything? Candace and Chris. We see them opening up presents. They decided not to go on a honeymoon. Chris said he need a break. He said the wedding was stressful enough, and he need a break. He need a minute before they go on their honeymoon, or all he gonna do is sleep. And what? I'm sorry, y'all. Woo, excuse me. What the big takeaway was from this conversation is that they've decided they need their own space. Duh. Y'all needed y'all own space a year ago. Chris should have never moved in that space. Y'all should have gotten y'all own space. I'm sorry. And I like Chris, but I do have to sort of give him a little bit of a side eye because I know it's a really, really nice space. It's a really beautiful home. And, I'm sure that all of those things are great. And you probably not in a position to give Candace what she got. But like she said, something as simple as having to worry about her mama just popping up. You mean to tell me your mama don't respect you enough to call and say, hey, I'm coming to town? She just show up. Y'all could be in the living room having an adult time. So that was the big takeaway from that whole scene, was that that I ain't see them make no definitive comments about they gonna take care, they gonna find, I didn't hear a sense of urgency. I heard we need our own space, but I didn't hear today. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we gonna get started tomorrow. All right. Monique, her scene, basically her with the kids and Chris, and her talking about, hey, I respect single mothers. I don't know how they do it. This third pregnancy is really rough on me, and I don't know if I'd be able to do it without having some help. Now, I think she was talking about Chris, because she didn't seem to have a nanny or anybody. I mean, we know she has one, but I don't think she was talking about a nanny or anything in that moment. I think she was talking about having a partner and mate. The other thing that came up was Chris gonna get a snip snip. Now Chris said he ain't getting snip snip. Monique said you getting snip snip or you won't get no poo poo. And Chris was like, well, that ain't gonna happen. So I think somewhere in the middle, they're gonna have to come up with something. But anyway, I ain't gonna go down no medical road with vasectomy versus getting your tubes tied. But anyway, all right. So that was their little scene. Like I said, it was a bunch of little filler scenes. So here's an important little scene. Giselle meets up with an old friend, a blast from the past, someone we haven't heard from in a minute. Now, Bravo gives us all these glimpses of Giselle and all her ex-boyfriends, but Giselle is talking about reconnecting with a girlfriend, a female friend. And who comes rolling up in the joint? Katie from season 1. Now remember, Katie and Giselle did not have the best relationship. Well, we know Giselle, for exception of Robin, Giselle give everybody a hard time. And for quiet as it's kept, she be giving Robin a hard time too. She just do it in a more subtle manner. But I feel like in this episode, Katie was a lot crazier than I remember her being. I don't remember Katie being this off the hook. Maybe it's me, but I could be wrong. Now we find out that Katie is still, living off her mama, and She's living on a farm down in Virginia with her boyfriend, her 27-year-old boyfriend, who I'm thinking he's not working. I think that's what she said. I can't quite remember if that's what she said, but neither here nor there. Crazy. Katie was coming off real kooky. Um, but Giselle was saying, look, maybe I need to reach out to her. Maybe I'm too quick to just let friendships go. I'm too quick to just write people off. And so I'm listening to what my counselor is saying, and I'm extending an olive branch to Miss Katie. And so she's going to invite Katie to Ashley's having a birthday party for her uncle who we met last season, who he's a cancer survivor, and so she's throwing a birthday party for him. He's the one that told her that she was just a trophy wife to Michael and she need to get up out of there. So Giselle decides, hey, I want to invite you to the party. I think it would be nice for you to meet some of the other ladies, and just extending the olive branch. And Katie was like, okay. She said, well, do they know I'm crazy? And I'm thinking, I don't remember you being this crazy. Y'all let me know in the comments. I remember Katie being a dummy with that whole relationship with the dude, but I don't remember Katie being this crazy. Katie was a little off the hook in this episode. I don't know if she was just trying to get her job back or what. I don't know. But neither here nor there. Robin. This house that Robin is trying to rehab is exactly what we thought. It's taking more time than they thought it was going to take, and it's taking more money than they thought it was going to take. She still hopes that when it's all over said and done, that she'll be able to make a profit. Remember, she bought it for like $60,000, so she's hoping to sell it for like $150, and she said she's put like $30,000 worth of work into it or something to that effect. It's doable that she can still make a profit once she's able to get it up to par. When it goes in, it looks like when they go in there, and Juan is with her, and this lets you know how disconnected her and Juan were. Juan had never even been to this property. He hadn't seen it. He didn't see it on the front end. He don't know how much work has been done. A lot of work has been done. Now, it does look like it needs a lot more work. But like Robin said, most of what's left is cosmetic. I don't know about that. I think it needs a little bit more than cosmetic, but I do think it's a lot better than where they started. I don't know nothing about the real estate market in Baltimore, so do I know if they could get 150 for it? I don't know, but I do think she'll be able to sell it. Now, what she gonna get for it? I don't know. But she said that she just has to make it work because she still blames herself a lot for them losing their money, and she just needs to really basically show that she can be a success at this. And I hope it works out for her because I hope it works out for her because I want her to stop carrying that burden around. I mean, mistakes were made, and yes, money was lost, but at the end of the day, Juan had to sign off on it too. Maybe it was your idea, maybe you pressured Juan into it, but at the end of the day, he had to sign off on it too. So stop carrying that burden. It ain't all on you. Mistakes were made, and yes, unfortunately, it was a huge mistake, and it cost y'all a lot. But I wouldn't take all that on your shoulders. But okay. So that's kind of what's going on with Robin. All right. Candace and Ashley meet up. They have lunch. Again, we know that they haven't always been in the best place, but Ashley said it means a lot that Candace would come and reach out to her, and they had a little talk or whatever. And here comes the drinking situation again. She talked about how she gave up drinking, and when she got a beer on the table. See, that's what I'm saying. Don't say I stopped drinking. Say, I've cut back, or I'm working on scaling all the way back. But don't be sitting there talking about you stopped drinking with that damn beer on the table. But anyway, so they talked a little bit about, the wedding, how beautiful the wedding was, and the seating arrangements, and how, she was up in the lion's den the way Candace had her seated, honey, up in the middle of the lion's den. But again, this is a filler. So it was a cute little conversation, but of course Candace was being shady in the confessional because Ashley had that beer bottle talking about a girl. I mean, are we having a baby or are we having a corona? I said, oh, here we go. And she invites her to the party and everything, so they're gonna come to the party. Karen and Giselle. Lord, Karen finally lets Giselle come to the house, honey. Karen is saging the house down, even to the point where Giselle walks in the door. She is saging her as she walks in the door and saying a prayer. And Giselle said, well, can I get a tour of the house? And Karen said, nope. She said, you don't get the Grand Dame tour. You get 2 rooms at a time. And Karen was giving it to her. She said, now sit your ass down to be quiet. And sit close to the door so when I'm ready to kick your ass out, you ain't got a long way to go. I said, oh, okay, Karen. Oh, okay. And, Giselle started talking to Karen about why she really wants to extend herself and really wants to work on their friendship. And she talked about the therapy and with Sherman or whatever, and that, she knows she can be a hard person and a standoffish person, and she really wants to do better. She really, really wants to do better. So she said, this is how we can prove ourselves to each other. Let's tell each other a secret that nobody else knows. And if it gets out, then we'll know that person told it. So I guess that's their trust, their circle of trust they're trying to build. And Giselle tells Karen that she doesn't wax, that she uses hair removal on Hoo-Hoo-Ha. And Karen tells Giselle that she regrets getting her implants out because now her boobs do what they want to do instead of sitting nice and perky. So she wears a bra to bed now because she doesn't want her boobs to be out of control. She said, now, if I know anybody else heard this, then I know it came from you. The other thing, Miss Karen threw some shade about Sherman and Giselle. She said, well, I'm not surprised about Sherman and Giselle, and neither is Potomac. She said, I just think that, Sherman jumped off the train before Giselle did. And so, of course, the producers were like, well, what you talking about? She said, well, I mean, I run in the same circles as Sherman. We shop in the same places. And that wasn't Giselle. I saw him with at Saks. I said, oh, shady, shady bitch. Shady, shady. But is anybody, raise your hand if you're shocked that Sherman was seeing somebody out beside Giselle. Anybody hand raised? Okay, because ain't nobody shocked by that. I think we all suspected / knew that there was somebody else in the picture or something else going on. I mean, I don't think it was a shock to anyone. All right, now we get to a little bit of the meat and potatoes. I'm sorry if this review is flat, y'all. I'm still a little sick. I'm still getting over my little, I don't know what, a head cold or whatever. But I'm giving it to you. So the end of the episode, we have a 90s party that they're throwing for Uncle Lump, which is Ashley's uncle. It's a 90s thing. I don't know what the hell Giselle had on. There was nothing 90s about Giselle's outfit. I didn't think. Now, I lived through the 90s. I was there. There was nothing 90s about Giselle's outfit. If it was, y'all tell me. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what it was that y'all thought was 90s about her outfit, because I didn't find nothing about her outfit 90s. Anyway, Giselle gave Michael a hard time. She talking about the white men on the show and how, they trying to they wish they was from Wakanda, because Michael was dressed up like Ashley and Michael were dressed up as DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and so he was doing the whole Fresh Prince thing or whatever, and he had his overalls and his loud shirt and all that other stuff. And Giselle always gotta be shady in the comments. Candace and Chris come. Now Karen and Monique both declined. Okay. Karen was like, why? Why? Just why? And Monique was like, yeah, I ain't really in no rush to spend time with Ashley. And as long as I got this baby bump as my excuse not to do anything I don't want to do, I'm just going to use it. And I don't blame either one of them, because Ashley said something like, well, I really wish they would come. This is a perfect opportunity for us to talk things out. See, that's y'all problem. Y'all always want to talk shit out at a party. That ain't the time to be talking out stuff. It's a time to have a good time and enjoy yourself. It is not a time to be talking shit out. But neither here nor there. Robin showed up. I love Robin's little pink hair, honey. She dyed that blonde into a pink, and it looked really cute. So Chris, Candace, Giselle, Ashley, and Robin. That's who came. And then they invited Katie. So Katie shows up, and Katie is, again, I don't remember her being this damn crazy. She gonna tell, they introduced Candace as the newlyweds, and she said, oh, how long? How many days? She said, well, about 5 days. She said, I wish I had met you 5 days ago. I'd have told you don't do it. And Chris is standing right there like, the fuck? And she was like, I'm sorry. I mean, it was nothing against you. It's just, marriage in general can be hard. I don't think anybody would say it's easy, but damn, like, that's the energy you bringing into the room. Now Michael is steadily asking about where Juan is, and we see Michael, talking to people throughout the party. And when Uncle Lump comes, Ashley wants Michael and Uncle Lump to talk, and Michael's like, no. He said, look, he thinks of you like a daughter, so he was protecting you like a daughter. I'm okay with that. We're good. And again, Ashley, why is it that you're trying to make people have these confrontations at an event that's not supposed to be about that? But I can respect, once again, I can respect where Michael's coming from to say, hey, look, I'm just trying to make peace. We're in a better place. People said what they said. They felt how they felt, and I'm going to move forward. I can respect that. Once again, Ashley is throwing them back like, somebody's paying her. She's taking shots and she's drinking. And once again, here comes Candace in the confessional like, so confused. Are we having a baby? Are we trying to have a baby? Because I see you trying to drink. But anyway, Ashley's mom shows up, and the ladies were having a ball. Everybody was having a really, really, really good time. Okay, here's where the drama gets started. At a certain point at the party, Michael made some inappropriate comments to, I don't know if it was a producer or somebody on the show. I don't know. What we do know is that Robin said that she thought she heard, no, she said she heard it. Now, she said they was all drunk, so let's be clear. But she said she heard Michael say something about he'd want to suck somebody's, penis. But the question is, what did Michael say? Who did he say it to? And then we see a scene where Michael talking about, I think my mic hasn't been working all evening, and that's good because I might have said some things I regret. So I'm pretty sure that next episode is going to be the who of what did Michael say and who did he say it to. So we're going to get there. Again, y'all, I know my energy is low. I apologize, but I'm getting it together. I feel a lot better, but this episode was low. So my energy was low. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments, please.